Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gret Leach and I am a soul alignment coach. I help people to understand who they are at a soul level and also to reach their full potential. Today, I'm going to talk about my own personal experience with this and how you can understand and become aware that you're potentially in a narcissistic relationship. I didn't actually realise that I was in a narcissistic relationship, and actually what I was encountering was domestic abuse until I left the relationship, and I was in that relationship for about 6 years. So there's going to be some of you out there that are in this relationship right now, and it was probably about 5 or 6 months after I decided to leave that relationship that I then started on my spiritual awakening and my self-development journey. And so what the aim with this video is if you guys are in that position right now, I feel for you, because I know that there is a lot of emotions that go on when you're in that kind of relationship, and all you're craving is to break free from that relationship, and you're on the cusp, and maybe you've tried to leave before, maybe 4 or 5 times. Personally, for me, it took me 6 times to be able to leave the relationship. And if you actually look at statistics with people that are in a domestic abusive relationship, that is the timeline. It can take up to 7 times before you're actually able to break free from that relationship. So I really want to help you guys that are watching this today that are in that situation and I may be craving that freedom and are feeling very lost in a very dark place, but you know deep down inside you're not meant to be in that relationship. You know that you're not meant to feel that way in life, and I just want to give you some guidance. So I'm going to get into 5 signs that you are potentially in a narcissistic relationship. So the first one, and you're probably going to think this is really obvious, but for me, I was really, really sad. And I would sit on the sofa most nights crying, literally crying, because I felt so sad and like I was in this really, really dark hole that I didn't know how to get out of. And I'm not going to touch too much on this today because this is a whole different part of my journey that I'm going to share with you guys. But I think what added to this dark sadness that I felt and this hole that I found myself in was because I'd been doing drugs for about probably 10 years, maybe longer than that prior. Drugs and alcohol most weekends, which again is another story and is part of my journey. And the reason that I did that is because of all the conditioning that was placed on me, which is ultimately the main pain point in my life that, you know, led to all of these other experiences and things that I decided to do. But that is a story for another day. But I just felt very, very sad, and I'd be in the car on my own, I'd be driving to work, or I'd be wherever I was going. It was almost like I just wasn't even present in my day-to-day life. You know, one of the things that I always think of is my car. I mean, I'm one of these people, I like to do everything properly. You know, I like to make sure the car's looked after, it's been MOT, you know, that it's been serviced, that there's new tyres on it, it's been cleaned. I like to know that everything's been done properly. That makes me feel good. And when I look back on that part of my life, when I was in that relationship, I had a car that ran out of oil. You know, I went up to the local shops and I ran out of oil and it wouldn't start, and I had to ring my dad and say, Dad, can you come down please and help me? I've run out of oil. I mean, how embarrassing is that? Because I didn't maintain that car. And when I left the relationship, all of the tyres were completely illegal. I had to get all of those sorted straight away. And it was almost like I'd just lost all connection with reality and myself. And, you know, as I'm talking about it now, it actually brings up emotion, to be honest, because it was a really, really dark and tough time of my life. So that's one of the signs for me. I just felt very, very sad, I cried all of the time because I just felt like I was stuck in this dark hole that I couldn't get out of. The second sign that you're potentially in a narcissistic relationship is that you feel trapped. You feel trapped and you feel scared to leave. One of the things that narcissistic people do is they psychologically abuse you, and they have this psychological and emotional hold over you. So that creates a feeling of you feel trapped because you're not able to express yourself as the person that you are, because you're worrying about, and this leads on to the third point, really, this all ties in together. You're constantly feeling on edge and you're constantly feeling worried about doing and saying the wrong things. So that all ties in with basically feeling trapped in a scenario, because a narcissistic person, and the relationship that I was in, he didn't want me to see my friends. He didn't want me to go out and be independent. He didn't want me to be liked by people. He was jealous of that. And so it creates this horrible feeling of feeling trapped. You just feel trapped and you want to escape so badly, but the repercussions of you trying to leave that relationship, the upheaval of trying to leave that relationship is so overwhelming and unbearing, and just sometimes, you know, it's just hard to be able to leave that kind of relationship, and it's just unbearable at times. And so you feel trapped because you know what's going to happen when you do try and leave that relationship. You know that that person is going to be like, there's going to be this massive blow up. Like for me, when I tried to leave, I tried to pack my things, and because I felt so trapped and I felt so isolated and controlled, that I would explode with these outbursts of anger. And, you know, yeah, I have got that feistiness to me. That is part of me. That is part of my personality. But if you compare that to who I am now and the person that I'm with now, that doesn't come out because it doesn't need to come out. But I would say I'm leaving, and it would end up in this massive just blow up of, you know, like an argument, and I'd be trying to pack my stuff and leave. He'd be trying to pull it off me. You know, once he chucked one of the tables on the floor and made a massive dent in the floor. He would threaten to tell my family and friends about me taking drugs. He would say, you know, what have you bought to this house? I've got all of this stuff that's in here. You know, I bought this, I bought that, because he actually worked for a removal company. And so he used to get a lot of like free furniture and stuff. We only lived together for about 18 months. That just shows how shit the relationship was, really. It was just unbearable. I couldn't do it. He was in and out of jobs all of the time, so all of the bills fell onto me. I had no money. I remember having to go and shop in B&M for, you know, like 50 pence yogurts and, you know, all of these things. You know, it's like now I eat organic food and stuff like that as much as what we possibly can. You know, we eat fresh stuff. You know, that's what I like. And I just had nothing. I had no money. I remember that my hairdresser, she used to come and do my hair, and I couldn't even afford to get my hair done at one point. And I remember saying to her, like, would I be able to pay you back on X date or whatever? I had no money because he took everything. He took everything from me. So that's the third sign, is that you're on edge and worried about saying or doing the wrong things. Again, like not wanting me to see my friends and things like that. So that ties in with point 2, which is where you feel trapped and scared to leave. Another point 4 is you have probably got on a daily basis a lot of ruminating thoughts going around your head. And when you're in the early stages of a narcissistic relationship, you know, at first it's like a honeymoon period because they sweet talk you. They, you know, like when I first met him, he was like, oh, I'm a partly qualified electrician. you know, I've got this, I've got that, and sold me the dream. And I was like, oh, this is the guy that I've been waiting for, you know, this is, because my previous boyfriend that I'd been with for 6 years, when I was like 16 to, I think it was 5 years actually, 16 to 21 or 15, 21, something like that. And obviously, you know, this had a couple of years on my own, you know, with my friends doing what I wanted to do. And this next relationship, I wanted, you know, I knew what I was looking for, and I wanted it to be someone that was going to match my, you know, values, and, you know, have a good career, you know, be able to afford to go out and do things together. And he sold me that dream. But very quickly, as time, what they do is they try and get you in and sell you, you know, manipulate you, sell you this dream. And by the time you know it, you're kind of all in. And then that's when the manipulation starts. That's when the control starts. So what you tend to do is, when things aren't going good and you start to have everything stripped away from you, you ruminate over all of this, because you think, well, everything was really good in the first place, so why is everything like this now? And you try your hardest to look for the good points. Now, I'm going to be really straight up and really honest in this this video, because I think it's important for me to be vulnerable and straight up about things. One of the main things that kept me in that relationship was the sex. And my partner knows about this now as well. Like, I don't know too much about this, but it is something that I am quite interested in. And if any of you guys know anything about this, please let me know. But I've seen certain things where people have talked about sex with narcissists, and it's kind of like the danger where you get like this thrill, because you're like seeking, because the relationship is so shit in every other way, and you feel so suppressed emotionally, they take everything from you, you're looking for something that is going to make you feel alive. And so what he knew that was one of the good things that we had in our relationship. And so he would say, oh, you know, have you been thinking about me, you know, this and that and whatever else, and, you know, talking about sex and all of that. And that was one of the things. The other thing that kept us together was the fact that we did drugs and alcohol. And when we did that on the weekend, that was the only time that we actually had a proper conversation where we could both express ourselves, we could feel confident, you know. It always changed him into a person that, and I'm talking about cocaine here. This is the drug that we used to do. We used to drink alcohol, do cocaine. And it used to make him into the person that I wanted him to be when he wasn't on drugs. And so I think the cycle for us that kept us together for so long was the drugs and alcohol, because that's what I chased. I chased those moments where we were like really lovey-dovey and nice with each other. And then obviously the sex was good because we were high and all of that. And then obviously after that, everything just came crashing down. So what you tend to do when you're in that kind of cycle is your thoughts will be ruminating every single day, and you'll be looking for the things that are good to keep you in that relationship. But then you'll be ruminating over all the really, really bad things. And when it gets to the point where you've physically and emotionally had enough and you're drained and you can't take any more, that's when it gets to the point where the good things are totally outweighed by the bad things. But these are the signs. If your thoughts are ruminating every single day about the relationship, then that's not healthy, because you shouldn't be ruminating over good or bad things. You know, like, you should just feel like this. The feeling that I get now with my current partner is I'm free to be me. I'm free to express myself in a way that feels good to me. He supports me in every single way. And when I think of him, it fills my heart full of joy and it lights me up. And I even have moments where I cry because I'm so grateful that he's in my life. Now, that compared to the relationship that I was in, and compared to all of those things that I was just telling you, where I'm sitting there in a black hole crying every night, not able to be myself, psychologically, emotionally controlled, ruminating thoughts every single day, trying to convince myself about the good things when really my body and soul and mind are just shouting at me to get out of that relationship. So you're probably going to be really resonating with a lot of these. And then the fifth one is, which I've just touched on as well, because they all just come together, is that, excuse me, my nose feels blocked. The fifth one is that that you get taken advantage of. And when I say taken advantage of, I mean in every single way that they can take advantage of you. Physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, same thing, financially. I did all the cleaning, I did all the washing, I did all the ironing, I did all the cooking. I funded everything when we were living together because he just couldn't hold a job down. And sometimes he'd only have work two days a week. So it literally strips you of everything. It strips you of your identity. It strips you of your independence. It strips you of being able to just know who you are. Like, they take everything from you because, and a lot of the time, and again, this is another video because otherwise it becomes too much when too many things all in one. But I'm an empath, you are an empath, and you're an empathic person, you are a sensitive person, you want to help people, and a lot of the time that is why narcissists and empaths attract each other. And they know that because the empath is attracted to the narcissist because of their charm and all of the things that they offer, which is, just fake, it's bullshit. But they're also attracted to them because they want to save them and they want to help them. And that's what I did with him for such a long time. It's just coming to me now. I tried to save him. I tried to help him with his depression. I went to the chemist to get his medication. I wanted him to become something that he wasn't. And I wouldn't say wasted because I don't regret any of it because it's part of my journey. It's part of everything that I'm here to help people with. But I look back and I think I would never ever do that now because I spent so much of my time and energy on him that I just completely forgot about myself. I didn't even come into the equation. When I left that relationship, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I couldn't even have a conversation on the phone with my current partner without feeling debilitating anxiety. I couldn't even go and have a face-to-face meal with him because my self-worth and my confidence was just shattered. And I didn't even know what I just experienced until I came out of that relationship. And then that is when everything started to make sense and I started to connect the dots and see things and look up what it means about an empath and a narcissist and domestic abuse. And that's when I realised that I'd just spent 6 years in a relationship with a narcissist and I suffered domestic abuse, and it changed me as a person as well. And I wasn't a very nice person either. I was angry, we would fight. I did things that are out of alignment for who I am as a person. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to have a drink. And there is so much to it, guys. There is so much to it. And I just want you to know, look, I'm here. If you want any support from me, please just pop some stuff in the comments. I honestly will come back to you with some guidance and some help. Anything that I can do to help you, whether you're smack bang in the middle of that relationship and you're noticing all of these signs, or whether you're literally on the cusp of, look, I'm really done here, I need to find a way out, I need some help. I've been there, I understand, but just know that these experiences, we choose them and they help us to grow. And I wouldn't be the person that I am now. I wouldn't be standing here being able to help you and share this story with you if I hadn't been through that. I wouldn't appreciate my partner and love him as much as what I do if I hadn't got the comparison of what I'd already been through. So look, it will be okay. But if you want to get out of the relationship, find the courage to say goodbye, because when I did that, when I walked away, I left the drugs behind. That was it. That was the end for me, and that was about 8 years ago. it was the best thing that I ever did, and it was the hardest thing that I ever did, and that was actually a big turning point in my life for me, when things started to go in a different direction, and I realised actually how lost I was, and how, you know, how bad the anxiety was, and how I just didn't know who I was, and it was a turning point for me. And ever since then, I've been on this amazing, magical, liberating, beautiful, painful, all of the things that you can imagine journey of awakening, understanding who I am. And this is me now standing in front of you as a soul alignment coach, here to help people to connect back to their, you know, their soul, understand who they are at a soul level, and to reach their full potential, because it is all possible, because I'm doing that, and I'm still on that journey, and it just gets better and better and better. So I'm going to leave it there, but I just really hope that this resonates with you. I know it's going to reach the people that it needs to. I want it to support you guys. And look, if you want any support from me at all, pop something in the comments. And as I said, I'll really do my best to come back and provide you with some guidance. Thanks for being here. Lots of love, and I'll see you on the next video.